hello, everyone. I am Todd Mason, and welcome to our conversation. I'm very pleased to have Scott Budde, the president and CEO of one of our youngest credit unions, in fact, our youngest credit union. And we're going to talk a little bit about his startup story, how the credit union came to be, and how Synergent helped out along the way. So, Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about how Maine Harvest got started, and I know the why behind it. I know I don't need to ask you that question. You're going to tell me the why anyway, but a little bit of the why and the how.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to talk about it. Well, first, it's been a long endeavor. I'm sure, as any credit union person can imagine. The chartering process for a new credit union is long. We used to say it's complex and iterative. But it just takes a long time, and it took us about 6 years. But our kind of origin story really comes out of, really out like most credit unions, kind of out of our field of membership, which is two organizations, two main organizations. One, MOFGA, the Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association. They're the folks that run the Common Ground Fair, and you often see their green tree if you're at a farmer's market. They do organic certification in Maine, so you might see that. And the other is Maine Farmland Trust, which is a land trust. MOFGA is in Unity, right in central Maine, and Maine Farmland Trust is in Belfast. Maine Farmland Trust is a land trust focused on preserving small farms. And the two of them, they're actually two of the largest of their type of organizations in the country. So they work, their members are small farms and food producers and the people who support them. I mean, I'm a member of both of them. And one of the things they both noticed was that there was a real lack of financing options available for small farms and food producers. And without getting too much into why that's the case, I'd say a lot of it is due to the decline of community banks. I mean, 50 years ago, the community bank system in Maine, those banks would have known how the local farms in their area worked. They would have supported them with the appropriate products. And that really is no longer the case in the community bank world. Community banks have gone on to different types of lending. I'm sure people, standard consumers, small commercial real estate, that type of stuff, they don't do too much of this anymore. There is farm credit, which does have offices in Maine. They tend to focus on much larger deals, big timber deals, large farms up in the county, those types of deals. So there was some good evidence that there was gaps in this, facing these types of members. And this is a sector that, in Maine, is doing quite well. I mean, and under COVID, it's had actually some bright spots. I mean, it's mixed bag like it is for many things, but it's had some real bright spots here and there. And, and people love it. And it's got all sorts of positive benefits for society. It has positive environmental benefits, health benefits. It's a great story. So I and some of my colleagues, our board chair in particular, Sam May, we're looking at ways that we could fill these financing gaps. We ended up with a credit union. We started the process. 6 years later, we got a charter, and that was in August of 2019. There were 2 charters nationally in 2019 across the whole country. So, and that was before COVID. In 2020, there's 0. That's pretty easy, I think. So, I don't want to bore anyone with the charter application. They can imagine what that's like, long and never ending. But I think that's the basics of the kind of origin story.
No, I mean, it is, the origin story is like so many other credit unions, finding a gap, rolling up your sleeves and picking up a shovel and filling that gap in. And so glad that you had the perseverance to make it through, as you were making it through and finding your path. I know you had choices about who to work with. Why did you choose Synergent to be one of your partners?
Yeah, well, first of all, I should mention also that we chose Maine. I had been doing some research across the Northeast. And so first, Synergent was, for us, was also a bit connected to Maine.
Mhm.
Well, I think a couple, and Maine was attractive largely because of these organizations. Maine has a much more active local food scene than probably any other state in the country. Maybe
Yeah.
Vermont is similar. So there's really a lot more going on in Maine, and sometimes even folks in Maine don't see how much more is going on in that scene than others. So Maine was a great place to do this, and I think the combination of Synergent and the strength of the league were big pluses for, I mean, I'm working with Mainers who weren't going to do it anywhere else anyway, but for me, it was also a reason I moved to Maine to do this work. And I had some connections to Maine. But this is one of the reasons I moved. So Synergent and Maine and the league are all kind of together as a reason. I think for Synergent specifically, we were trying. It's hard to start a new credit union. We know that, and many new credit unions, the few that start, many of them don't make it. I mean, they just and we knew that, and so we were also trying to start with a unique model, a very, very specialized model. We're not doing consumer lending. There are lots of great credit unions that do it. We're happy to refer people. We don't do consumer lending. We're only doing a couple types of commercial ag lending, really. And we're not handling cash. We're not offering checking accounts. We have a very streamlined model. And so first we were looking for someone who would work with us on that model, because we thought that that was one of the keys to being able to keep costs down and make us more likely to survive.
Yeah.
So Synergent was certainly willing to work with us on it, on creating a unique, let's say it's a unique solution. Also, we certainly needed and wanted the soup to nuts solution. So the bundling together of a wide range of capabilities was a big plus for us. Because of our model, the connections day one to, or well, maybe not day one, but day 2 to 10 or whatever. The easy connections into co-op shared branching and into SURF were crucial for us, because we have one of the things that's a bit unusual because of our field of membership. We actually have a statewide field of membership because it's an associational common bond. So that access to those, and those were, and I have to say that getting those up and running was, worked pretty well for us. So having that tie-in of Synergent to SURF and co-op share, and being the switch for co-op shared branching and into Tricor, we drank the full Kool-Aid. I'll just say, we drank a little bit. I mean that in a kind, loving way. And, that's, I think worked pretty well for us. I mean, and because it has enabled us to execute on this model.
No, that's great. And can you talked a little bit about it, but can you talk about just a few of the products that you use through Synergent?
Sure. Well, I mean, all of core processing on Epicus, I think, and then we're just getting online with mobile and internet banking with Access Softtech. That's through Synergent. I would say that's our probably our biggest add-on product is Access Softtech. Yeah,
and you do it, and you talk about soup to nuts. You definitely use the soup to nuts, and we of course appreciate that. And there's a lot that you've got to balance as a small startup credit union. There's a lot that you have to balance, and you've got a pretty small team. How the heck do you get all of that done? How do you, as a small team, how do you get it all done?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm in awe of a number of credit union CEOs where I just can't imagine how they get it all done. So for us, I think it's probably three things. Synergent certainly does help. And I do have to say something about something that Synergent has been able to do. And we're still working with Synergent on lots of projects and we're a bit unusual. Synergent had to start with a credit union without a conversion. So starting from nothing. which is very, very unusual for
Mm-hmm.
anyone running a core processing system, where everything starts day one at zero. The general
Mm-hmm.
ledger at zero. The first member is one. I mean, it's a very different thing, and it's created, all sorts of, challenges and opportunities.
Yeah.
And Synergent has been there for all that. So, but answering your question, so I think Synergent has been one of those things. I don't know what we would do if we had to do our own statements or anything like that. I mean, I think that might push me over the edge. Statements would be one thing. Another, but the other two things I think would be, this is related to Synergent. We have 4 great mentor credit unions who really signed on. I mean, and literally signed a letter to the NCUA saying that they would help us. So that's Seaport and Evergreen and Acadia up in the county, and New Dimensions in Waterville.
Yeah.
Seaport and Evergreen in Portland. And they've been each of them has been very helpful, often in kind of different areas. They are all Synergent clients and running Epicus. So their ability to help us, particularly on some operational and financial things, has been even higher because we share that. They are able to give us much more specific advice. I mean, I can call someone at New Dimensions who will know more about teller transactions than I'm going to know in my ever, right? So, and I can do that. I mean, we can call Synergent as well, but it's helpful to have that that advice. And then I think the third is just the strength of the Maine credit union community in general has just been phenomenal. I mean, these mentors, and we've pushed Synergent a fair amount here and there on some issues, and the responsiveness both of Synergent and of these mentors has been just amazing. I mean, some of the mentors, have gone way beyond the call of duty to help us with no reward to them other than just the the satisfaction of helping another credit union, and that has been invaluable.
It's part of what, Scott, what you just described is part of what gets me up every morning. It is that cooperative spirit, and in so many things it takes a village. And we've got such a strong village here in Maine. All of us working together, and it's for the common good, it's for the common cause, and I'm proud to be part of it, and just proud to be part of your story, and so proud of our credit unions to continue the theme of helping get it done. So as we round this out, finish this out with, if you can, the one or so sentences you use to describe your relationship with Synergent.
Well, I think it's been very cooperative. It's been very supportive, I think would be two of the biggest. Maybe flexible too. I mean, we've presented a model that is quite different, and that has a very unusual model. It's an unusual origin story, and this starting with a blank slate is just a very unusual challenge, and Synergent has risen to that challenge.
Now we appreciate the partnership, and we appreciate you choosing us, and I got to tell you, we've learned a ton along the way with you. For all the things that you just described, we were learning and growing with you, and so much appreciate being part of your process and your continued success. So Scott, thank you for spending some time with us, and look forward to hopefully catching up again in the future. You take care.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.